Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our Talks with Walt, as we are calling our readings to the deathbed edition of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. We turn now to As the Greeks Signal Flame, poem number 53 of the 58 of Stanza 70. And obviously here we're going to be working along with the previous poem, The Dead Emperor. Now, if that was a salute to William I, this one is a salute published in the New York Herald for John Greenleaf Whittier, 1807 to 1892, who Whitman never met but corresponded with, the great Whittier, the great poet. Now, our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Talks with Walt, our playlist. Everything from the inscriptions up to and including a set of introductory comments for Stanza 70. And then we just finished with The Dead Emperor, and I told you these two poems can kind of work together in some ways. Now, there is some information Norton's will provide to us. Right below the title, Whitman will provide for Whittier's 80th birthday, and then he'll give the date, December 17th, 1887. This one was first published, our Norton's will tell us, in the New York Herald of December 15th, 1887, and then reprinted in the Boston Advisor, December 17th. Whitman, as we said, never actually met Whittier, but they did correspond. And Whitman, I think, did have some respect for Whittier, as he did for Longfellow and some of his contemporaries, although it's clear that Whitman probably believed that his poetry transcended that of Whittier, especially in relationship to form, right? Because Whitman was so much more interested in writing that long line that was a free expression of poetic intent. Now, we're back to our Homer, we're back to our Iliad, the idea that the Greeks, of course, would light a signal flame, especially as it related to the passing. Obviously, we're thinking about Achilles and his Patroclus and all of that. We've given full lectures on the Iliad at learnstrong.net if you want to run that to ground. Notice this poem is constructed with as and then so. As the Greek signal flame, by antique records told, that's his poetic way to call it, Homer, right? Rose from the hilltop like applause and glory, welcoming in fame, some special veteran, hero. Think about hero, or a variant of hero is used over 55 times in Leaves of Grass. With rosy tinge, this is of course rosy fingered dawn reference, right? Rosy tinge, reddening the land he served. So, I, aloft from Mannahatta's ship-fringed shore. Again, Mannahatta loves to use this right at the very beginning of Stanza 70 cluster, right? He uses the old native referencing of for Manhattan and New York. Lift high a kindled brand for thee, old poet. Notice capitalized, old and poet. It's the only use in all Leaves of Grass of that phrase, old poet. Of course, the kindled here has a powerful double meaning as well in regards to the brand, the fire. And obviously, as we said in our last statement, I think as Whitman got older, he began to be concerned about legacy questions, as we've seen already in some of these poems of Stanza 70. And so he begins to celebrate other writers, other leaders and the like. Here it's Whittier. And to that degree, I think the message here at 2A is great creators, great artists love to celebrate other great creators and artists, especially at the end of their lives. When they're in the middle of the contest, it's sometimes not as easy. But by the time you come to the end, you're ready to say, you know what, there's a few other great ones that probably deserve some time, energy, and mentioning with me. At 2B, I love the construction of as, so, and the reaching back to the antique, to the Greeks. At 3A, well, obviously we can just mention, the great poems of Whittier that come to mind, Forgiveness, Barefoot Boy, by their works, and of course The Worship of Nature, some considering maybe those that Whittier's greatest poems. And finally at 3B, what was a time that you've experienced when a great artist, whoever it was, applauded another great artist? And how did you feel about that? And do you think it was genuine, or was it kind of like more token, or was it powerful? And of course, you can think about yourself, the time you applauded somebody who's a contemporary of yours. Thank you.